Neil Druckmann does have sole writing credit on The Last of Us Part 1, but Bruce Straley directed The Last of Us Part 1.
Yeah.
So that was how the team was divided. The director of it was Bruce Straley, the writer of it was Neil Druckmann, and for Part 2, it was all Neil Druckmann and some girl that wrote like one episode of Westworld or something. I forget her name though, even. It's like, he had like a writing partner, which I think was the like, hey, you know, have a writing partner who's a female so that if you have things in this in this game that are like shockingly misogynistic, you can be like, oh well, a woman was the writer.
Oh, yeah, that's what these big companies always do. Like, gotta have a woman just in case we get backlash. Then we can be like, see, we had a woman do this.
Yeah, or just if everything was like, hey, why is the pregnant woman going on the excursion outside the camp? Even though she's their like their surgeon. And it's like, oh well, you know, the lady said that she'd go if she was pregnant, so I was like, yeah, I'll put that in then. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, no,
Play
she
Street
said
Fighter.
I was right. He wasn't alone. No, so you said Druckmann didn't even solely write The Last of Us Part 1. He did write The Last of Us Part 1 alone. He did not direct it. So that's that being the difference. But had you said like he directed I would have said, yeah, no, he didn't actually. He was the
Neil had
co-director.
Neil had some ideas for one that didn't make it in. So Bruce was kind of the one making sure the story was like simple and straightforward, and like we're gonna focus on just these characters, you know.
Yeah, like, and actually there's some stuff that goes into that. The original pitch for The Last of Us Part 1 has a lot of things about a woman who's out for revenge from her father being killed, and then that like being a secondary player character, and apparently that was an idea for The Last of Us Part 1, but eventually it was decided no, it's too unfocused now. We gotta
Bruce shot it down because Bruce himself has gone on record saying that he always thought revenge stories in the post-apocalypse were fucking stupid.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, I can see
it. They really are. Because when you consider that, like, leaving the safety of whatever kind of settlement that you're in, anyone can die at any time, and the likelihood of coming back alive is very slim. So what are you doing risking your life going out to make sure someone dies? They're probably dead. Like, they are probably dead because they live in the same world you are, and it's a fucking miracle you're still alive. So just think that, and you'll be able to sleep.
And it's also like, how do you track this person down in the first place? How do you figure out where they are? Yeah.
I just think it's funny.
Well,
that
I mean, now we got
I
mean, I don't want to say a potential conspiracy theory here. They had more writers than Neil for the first one, and then he changed the credits later to claim sole writer. So
did he change?
I wonder if they had a writer's room.
I wonder if that is true. Because I guess if you look at the credits, in the original PS3 game versus the remake.
I do have the PS3 copy, but I don't know. Like, I mean, theoretically, would they have been able to update the credits? Like, you'd have to do it on like a 1.0 PlayStation. And I don't want to play through all of Last of Us 1 at 30 FPS just to prove that. But that is
because the remake did it wasn't just like a graphical thing. Didn't they also change a couple things around?
No, no, it was just a graphical thing. That's a misnomer that a lot of, and you'll have some people, especially if you ever go into the Facebook groups around like Colin's community or something, you'll have tons of people that are like, actually, they totally rebuilt the AI from the ground up, and there's all these different things. And it's like, and then the game comes out, and guess what? It's a fucking texture pack on top of The Last of Us. And it's like, oh, but the AI, it's like only in grounded mode. So if you're playing any difficulty other than the absolute hardest one, no, it's just the same AI it always was. And that's I hate the job and I can't believe it. I was going to play the game to compare it on my stream, picked it up on PC, and it runs like absolute trash. And I got it on CD keys, so I can't even fucking return it.
And they had to apologize. I think it's funny that Naughty Dog is becoming not the top dog anymore at Sony, and it's probably Santa Monica now, or Insomniac, or Sucker Punch.
Did you guys hear the thing about Bungie cucking Druckmann?
No, what happened there?
So so apparently Bungie was brought on to do a critique, like a review and like just kind of critique to shape things up about that Last of Us factions mode.
Yeah.
And apparently they had so many notes that while the game was supposed to be shown at that showcase, they not only decided to not show it, they've now indefinitely delayed it.
Yeah.
So it was like Bungie was just like, yeah, this is a piece of shit multiplayer game, I guess, and then got him to basically be sort of on the sideline and have to release an apology statement thing that's saying, we know many of you Last of Us fans are excited to see the factions multiplayer mode, and we will bring that to you, and it will be incredible, but we've decided that it's not where it needs to be right now.
The factions multiplayer is as real as Overwatch PvE. It's just not gonna happen. It's not a thing.
I mean, like it was in the first game, though.
Oh, I know, but you know.
But that is such an ancient, like old gen style of multiplayer. Like I don't think people want that anymore.
That is the style of multiplayer that worked for The Last of Us, and most people did not think that that would be a game that could have good multiplayer.
Yeah, but it wasn't
like
popular.
Factions.
It wasn't.
I don't know, man. Like
Last of Us multiplayer? No.
Last of Us multiplayer was quite popular. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people.
Not on like mainstream, like compared to other mainstream multiplayer games. It was like,
it was compared to what all the other PlayStation exclusive multiplayer games. They're only on one platform.
No, I'm just saying it wasn't like people weren't watching it on Twitch. They were playing. They were having fun with it, and it was a well done mode. But it's like,
I mean,
it's
was
like
Twitch even really a thing in 2013?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just saying.
I don't think it was. Like
I almost don't hear anybody talking about it like as they're. Like,
I mean, like, there's a reason the Naughty Dog fans have been losing their shit for the last 2 years, saying, "Oh, it's coming any day now. It's going to be here. It's going to be amazing." Because a lot of people liked the Last of Us multiplayer. It was good. Like, did you ever try it?
Yeah, I played it. It's very simple. You just run around and it's very, very simple. It's like
it's stealth multiplayer, but in a way that I think they did a decent job of making all of the attacks high damage enough that it's a serious problem if you're spotted at all. So it really is kind of a hide and seek type deal. And I thought that actually worked pretty well. And they did a pretty decent kind of meta game with it where if you, at least on the PS4 version, you could connect it to your Facebook account and then it would populate your settlement with names of people from your Facebook page. And then you would have it so that someone would be like, I just think KJ Snyder has died of an infection. You need more meds. It's like, it would give you names of people that you actually knew.
I think, if I'm being honest, I think Metal Gear's multiplayer was way more fun than Last of Us.
Which one? 4 or 3?
Yeah.
Oh, for 4.
Yeah.
Oh God, I thought you were going to talk about the Phantom Pain one.
Oh, well, I don't.
4, I didn't really
that
play
one was
too
very
much
good
actually.
I didn't play that one. No, I was talking about the one that they shut the servers down. Was it called Metal Gear Survive? No.
Survive is the kind of Left 4 Dead one.
Yeah. No. It was like it was literally like a multiplayer arena.
Metal Gear Online. Metal Gear Online was the one with 4,
and you could create your own like soldier and.
Yeah,
I just like it reminds me of Last of Us. Like it's like this, the main focus is the single player, but then you have this fun little like alternate multiplayer mode.
Yeah, and I think that's all that anyone wanted from Last of Us multiplayer, really. But they just decided, oh no, we're gonna make it this new, expansive, like it's gonna be its own product.
Is it gonna be like the Division?
Actually, it's gonna be.
Think?
I mean. They've not ever actually said anything about it.
That's what I'm thinking.
Other than it's going to be its own thing. And for a while they were saying it was going to be a box product. Then they changed it to it's going to be free to play. DLC. And now, no. The only thing they've been saying for a long time is that it will specifically not be DLC for The Last of Us Part 2. It is going to be its own thing. Now, I think what they're really hemming and hawing is, hey, can we get these fucking idiots to pay $70 for the multiplayer mode that we removed from the game they already paid us for? And the reason I say it in such harsh terms is because Naughty Dog charging PS5 players $70 for that remake was highway fucking robbery. And it is only them taking advantage of their most devout fans, the people who like them the most, because those are the only people buying that early. The people who waited a decade to play The Last of Us are not going to spend $70 on your fucking remake on day one, man. Like, that's not happening. Like, they will wait. They'll keep waiting. So the only people that are buying it day one are the PlayStation fanboys. And it's like, yo, you realize they're bilking you guys, right? Because, I mean...
Yeah, it's different than, like, Shadow of the Colossus when I feel like that was a $50 price point. And it introduced a lot of people to the game.
Yeah.
But The Last of Us was already remade so many times and remastered that it's just like...
I actually exact same amount of releases as Shadow of the Colossus, to be fair. The Shadow of the Colossus
was a
really? PS2 game that was re-released on PS3 and then no. The PS3 version of Shadow of the Colossus. Yeah, it was a 60 FPS remaster that you could actually play in 3D, like stereoscopic 3D if you had a 3D TV. Like, they did some shit to it, but it was still the game just upscaled. The remake, or the Blue Point one, was basically kind of a shot-for-shot remake with, like, they improved the controls a little bit, but for the most part,
it was
just
$40,
the game, but it looks a lot nicer. It was about to say, it was actually, it was $20 cheaper than a full-price game at the time.
Yeah.
Which, if The Last of Us was $40, I'd be like, yeah, okay. If you say you're doing as much work on it as you're doing, and you're charging $20 less than list price of a brand new game, sure. But $10 above it, like, you're going full list price, like, this is the PlayStation 5 games, because these games are expensive, guys. You know, like, our hands are tied. We just got to spend so much money on these games. So much money on the game that you already had all the level design, gameplay mechanics, voice acting, performance. You had all that stuff done. And you still need to charge $70 for it? Fuck off.
And Resident Evil 4 actually made a lot of changes.
Yeah, and that's a remake. That's a real.
And that is a straight remake. Yeah. And they made a lot of changes.
As with Dead Space. Dead Space and Resident Evil, I think, are great examples of that, because they're both very faithful, but they're also both very clearly new games.
Yeah.
They're new games that are faithful to their originals, but they're not the same. Whereas The Last of Us Part 1 is the same. It's the same. It just looks nicer. That's it. That's a remaster. I'm sorry. You could call it a remake in your marketing all you want. You're still selling people a $70 fucking remaster of a game that you've already sold them twice. Blows my mind. I can't believe they do. You know why? Because I feel sorry for the people who are like the real PlayStation fans that are like, they're like very happy to hear any Last of Us information that comes out. They're still under the impression this is a studio that loves us, that like they make the best games ever, that like we're the best community ever. It's like, no. These people think you're fucking idiots, or else they wouldn't have done that to you. And that's what bothers me about it. It's like, man, it's disrespectful to your clientele to be like, I'm gonna actually try to get away with charging this much for it.